In 2010, it began to circulate the recreational drug scene due to the psychedelic effects associated with it, but unfortunately, it was often misrepresented as LSD, which is extremely dangerous for reasons we'll get into. 25I is a potent phenethylamine and is deadly in doses as low as a milligram. This chemical has caused significantly more deaths and dangerous responses than your run-of-the-mill psychedelic. And although it typically comes on blotters and does have a psychoactive effect similar to LSD, that is really where the similarities end. 25I is typically sold as LSD because to the unsuspecting consumer, the effects may be similar. And 25I is considerably cheaper than LSD, giving the distributor an incentive to misrepresent the drug for a profit. However, this fact alone causes a lot of the danger and is a considerable reason why there has been so many deaths and injuries associated with this compound. 25I is potent, and I mean very potent. And unfortunately, that means that there is a very high risk of overdose, specifically when you are taking high doses of this drug. Even the margin between a moderately high dose and an overdose is razor thin. And if you are taking blotters that are not evenly distributed, you could think you're taking a low to moderate dose, but in reality, actually taking a dose that will potentially kill you without you even knowing. This story alone is a great example why people who take recreational drugs should always have them tested, because it could truly save your life. And although the potential life-threatening toxicity and death associated from this drug being either abused or misrepresented as a completely different compound are extremely scary, that's not where the story ends. Obviously, taking this drug and dying is the worst outcome, but it's not the only bad outcome that can happen if you take this compound. Let's focus in a bit on the actual experience of this compound. This drug not only produces visual changes, but can also produce auditory, tactile, and smell-based hallucinations, which to me sounds hilarious and irritating. Like, imagine you just keep smelling something, especially if it's a negative smell and you can't identify the source of where it's coming from. That alone would probably drive me mad. And it is commonly reported that trips on this substance are overwhelming and dysphoric, with some sensations being described as confusion and anxiety, thought loops, the inability to complete basic tasks. And that's on the light end. On the darker end of things, this drug can cause delirium, which could be extremely dangerous for the user itself and those around the user. This is because these delirious states are typically accompanied with aggression and agitation. Due to the sheer intensity of this substance, it is not uncommon for people to experience HPPD or dissociation. HPPD, for those who don't know, means hallucinogen persisting perception disorder, which essentially is the experience of subtle visual cues that they experienced on psychedelics for days, weeks, months, or even years after they took their psychedelic. Typically, this manifests as some sort of visual static, and the specific reason for this happening is unknown, which to me sounds terrifying. When taken sublingually, which basically just means under your tongue or cheek, this drug can last up to 10 hours. And with the negative effects that it's typically reported to have, that's not something I would even want to consider.